Well, hello there. Welcome to another episode of Needlepoint TV. So today I'm going to share with you a how-to. It's a tutorial video on how to do a Rhodes stitch heart. If you happen to have a canvas, like maybe this one from My Pink Sugar Life Designs, you might have a canvas that has a little heart on it. Well, you absolutely can use a Rhodes stitch heart to stitch a little heart shape on your canvas. This stitch is also good if you wanted to create a border of hearts. So what do you say we dive in and take a peek at how to do a Rhodes stitch heart?
Well, hello there. Welcome to our video that is all about how to make a Rhodes stitch heart. So you can see that I have my needle and thread to the front of the canvas where I want to begin stitching. And in order to place my first stitch, I'm simply going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then over to the left, 1, 2. And there is my first stitch in the Rhodes stitch heart. So the next stitch I'm going to come over to the right one and go up one, bring my needle through to the front, and then I'm going to place this second stitch, the end of this second stitch. It's going to be over to the left one from the ending point of that last stitch I made and up one. So there is our next stitch. The next stitch on your diagram is labeled number 5, and it's worked over one and up one from the starting point of that last stitch that you made. So we're just making our way up. We're working in a counterclockwise manner. So stitch number 5 ends one canvas thread to the left of the previous stitch. All right, next stitch number 7. Again, I'm going to come over to the right one canvas thread rather to the beginning point of my last stitch. So over one and up one. Bring my needle through to the front. And that stitch is going to end. Here's the last ending point for our last stitch. I'm going to come down one and go over to the left one. All right, so you can begin to see our heart taking shape. We've still got a ways to go, but we're beginning to get a feel for what the shape is going to look like and the size that it's going to be. Now I'm at stitch number 9, and I'm simply going to bring my needle through to the front, one canvas thread above the starting point for my last stitch. And stitch number 9 is worked all the way across the center of the heart, and I'm just going to, at this point, come down one canvas thread from the ending point of the last stitch. So you can see, like I said, we're working our way around and we're creating our heart. We're building our heart as we go. Stitch number 11 is one canvas thread up from the starting point of the last stitch that we just made. And it ends up over here all the way across the canvas, directly underneath the last stitch that we made as well. So now we have the top left quadrant of our heart and the bottom right quadrant of our heart, or just about. All right, so the next stitch, which is stitch number 13, again, we're just going to jump up one canvas thread from the starting point of our last stitch. And this time we're going to come across the canvas again, and it's going to be lined up directly underneath this ending point of that last stitch that we just made. So we now have 4 stitches that are stacked on top of each other, and you can see how they go all the way across the center of the heart shape. Now we're going to, I guess, really get to the point where we're going to wrap this up, and our next stitch, we're going to, which is stitch number 15 on your diagram, we're going to come over one canvas thread from the starting point of this last stitch, so over to the left one, whoops, well, there it is, and up one. And bring our needle through to the front. And this time we're going to go all the way across the center again, but our ending point is going to be down one and over to the right one of the ending point of our previous stitch. And then the next stitch, which is stitch number 17 on your diagram, simply come over to the left one from the starting point of stitch number 15. And we're going to take this all the way across the center of the canvas, and this stitch is going to end up down one and over to the right one from the ending point of our previous stitch. Stitch number 19, we are just going to, when you look at your diagram, you see you're going to have to come over one canvas thread from the starting point of this stitch, so over one, and then down one, which is right here, kind of hiding behind that last stitch that we just did. Bring that through to the front, and then it is going to end one canvas thread really diagonal, or down one canvas thread and over to the right one canvas thread. That's where stitch number 20 is. And to finish off this heart, then we're going to come back up here in the middle in that little gap. Whoops, let's see if I can grab it. There we go. That little gap in between the two sides. Bring your needle through to the front and put the finishing touch on your heart by coming down one and over to the right one from the last place that last stitch ended. So down one and over one, and finish it off. And there, my friend, you have a Rhodes stitch heart.
So if you happen to be wondering what kinds of threads you can use to create these beautiful little heart shapes on your canvases, I have a few that I'm going to share with you. My favorite threads, of course, or some of my favorite threads, are threads from the Karen collection called watercolors. One of the things I love about watercolors is that it's a divisible thread, so you can use it on a variety of different canvas mesh sizes. In other words, 18, 13, or 14. You could even use it on size 10 canvas mesh. So I pulled some colors that I think are very Valentine-y, and I thought I'd share those with you so you can get an idea about some pretty colors if you wanted to just add a little bit of oomph to one of your projects. Good colors for Valentine's Day. This one is called Flame. It's color 45. It's beautiful. It's really a bright red with some purples in it. Love this one. And then there's another red. Of course, my all-time favorite red from Karen collection is Cardinal number 219. So this is a beautiful red. You can see it's a really pretty bright red. It has a little bit of variation in it, so it is somewhat monochromatic. It has some deeper reds and some lighter reds, but it's just really rich and a beautiful color. Another red that has a lot of orange in it, it's called Bittersweet, number 221. Love this one too. And this is a really fun thread, would make some really cute hearts on a canvas. If pink is more your thing for Valentine's Day instead of red, I've pulled some pinks for you too. So some of these pinks are vibrant and some of them are more subtle and soft. So if you maybe had a canvas that was for a little girl, a baby, maybe a little baby girl like we're going to be having in our family come June, you might think about using one of these two pinks. Cotton Candy, which is number 116. Love that. It's got shades of pink and then a little bit of ecru in it, which is really pretty. And then there's also this one called Fresh Pink, number 117. This is a more monochromatic pink, just beautiful, soft pink color. And then if bright pink is more your thing, then there is this one, number 248, called Primrose. Beautiful pink that has a little bit of, I would say, peach and fuchsia in it. So really, really happy, cheerful color. And then another one that I think just screams 8 to 12-year-old girl. It is called Rosebud, number 148. It's got pinks and purples in it. Love this one too. Really pretty color. And speaking of purple, if purple is your thing, then this purple called Grape, number 158, is really pretty. It's more of a red violet, so it has more red in it than it does blue. But if you like blue violet or more bluish purples, this one called Aubergine, number 286, is quite lovely too. It's dark, but it is a beautiful, rich purple color. Of course, some other threads that you can use to do a Rhodes heart in would be threads like Pepper Pot Silk, Planet Earth Silk. You could use Vineyard Merino. You can also use Rainbow Gallery's Very Velvet or Petite Very Velvet. The main thing to keep in mind is because the Rhodes heart stitch is layered, it's multiple stitches that are layered on top of each other, you are going to want to make sure that you use a little bit lighter weight thread than you might typically use to get full coverage. So in other words, if you were going to work a Rhodes heart on a size 18 mesh canvas, then I would say if you were using a silk thread, for example, then pepper pot would be a good option. You could also use stranded silk. If you wanted to use splendor, you could do that. And I would use maybe 3 strands instead of 4. Play around with it. You're just really going to have to test it out. And that's where those doodle canvases come in tremendously helpful. So make sure that you get yourself a doodle canvas and play around with some different threads, and then share those pictures of those inside of our free Facebook group. I'll make sure I link to it down below here for those of you that may not be aware that we have that available. So I will look forward to seeing pictures of your Rhodes stitch hearts. And until next time, happy stitching. Bye for now.